Oh, wait. Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast, episode 843. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with James. What's up, James?
Hey, guys.
All right, so we're going to do this article. Hopefully people could pop in. Finally, the Power of the Daleks is confirmed for November. Newly animated. So I'm going to read this to you guys. Now, I know this is a little late, but I was at work, so I couldn't cover the story because I was traveling home. So here's the press release. One of the Doctor's most celebrated adventures, and yet it's not complete. The filming of The Power of the Daleks are known to have survived. None of the copies have survived. I guess the master negatives were destroyed in an archive purge in 1974. BBC Worldwide has announced that a brand new black and white animated based on the audio recordings of the program using the original cast, surviving photographs, and film clips will be released 50 years to the minute after its only UK broadcast on BBC One. The 6 half-hour episodes feature the regeneration, or as it was called, the renewal of the first Doctor William Hartnell into the second Doctor Patrick Troughton, as the Time Lord and his companions Polly and Ben do battle with the Daleks on the planet Vulcan. Doctor Power of the Daleks is being produced by the team behind the highly successful animation of the Lost Dad's Army episode, A Stripe for Frasier, first released on the BBC Store in February this year. The producer and director is Charles Norton, with character designs from the acclaimed comic book artist Martin Geraghty and Adrian Salomon. Charles Norton says the Power of the Daleks animation is the most ambitious Doctor Who archive restoration ever attempted, and we are all very honored to be part of such an exciting project. Intelligent, suspenseful, and magnificently staged, Power of the Daleks is one of the greatest lost classics of 1960s television, and a superb example of the black and white era at its finest. Paul Hambury, executive producer of BBC Worldwide, says Charles and his team are remarkably talented and passionate about Doctor Who. We are thrilled that the fans will soon be able to enjoy this rather sinister but wonderful classic story. And of course, we can't show the trailer because probably
strike that.
Yeah, but it will be available on the BBC Store on Saturday, November 5th, followed by the DVD on Monday, November 21st. Now, I'm wondering if when it's going to be released here, though. It doesn't really say.
They did. I think somebody alluded that BBC America would definitely air it, but the DVD will work differently. There'll be news. The Doctor Who Facebook said there'll be news for that. So
now the 10th planet was where William Hartnell regenerated into Patrick Troughton, and then the beginning of the Power of the Daleks shows that regeneration again.
Yeah, so basically the 10th planet episode 4 doesn't exist, and
Right.
we did have the regeneration scene. So the curious thing is 10th planet episode 4 is now animated, so it does kind of work in conjunction with that because they're both animated. Now the story is animated next to it, so it will kind of seamlessly work. Obviously, this is a different studio who's animated it, and this is why people, when we remove the audio from the clip, you remember the leaked clips from this animated story a few weeks ago. When people uploaded it to YouTube, I tried it too without the audio, and it was still getting taken down. Not by a bot, by somebody actually at BBC Worldwide. And now this explains why, because they're intellectual property. So,
but like Connor Farley had pointed out, they did this around the 50th, where they released Web of Fear.
Yes.
And the one with the, oh my God, why can't I remember? The other one. What's the other one with Salazar?
Enemy of the World.
Yes, thank you. Enemy of the World. So was this planned, James?
Yes. So basically this will be 50 years after the story. And also there were rumors when I was in another group. Remember an old friend told me there was rumors for this for many years. Now, these rumors could have been just people speculating because you know what people like on these missing episode forums. They'll say anything for a bit of attention. But this particular rumor has been going on for about 3 or 4 years now. So,
well, it makes you wonder if they're working on all the episodes that are missing with the animated.
Yes and no. The no would be because why was Underwater Menace not animated and released with by the way, the worst recons I've ever seen. They are terrible recons. They had like the worst telesnaps. If you didn't know, Underwater Menace was the last classic DVD released, but episode 1 and episode 4 are missing.
Mm.
For example, Moonbase, they animated the episodes, but they didn't even bother to animate Underwater Menace, which is weird because they animated this.
Now, what happens if they? What happens if they do find somebody has a copy of Power of the Daleks? They'll probably release that also. Right?
Yeah. So they release it. It would be so. For example, if they found that, it'd be like the special edition. And
yeah, they're always looking to make money on different versions of the stuff. So it would be a good, even though we're going to get the animated Power of the Daleks, it would be a good thing if anybody does know where it is to turn it over to the BBC, because we could still buy that version.
The reason why they animated it mostly is because it is a classic story. It is the iconic, because it's the very first time we see a regenerate Doctor.
Right,
he sees the Daleks in what is critically acclaimed, apart from Genesis of the Daleks, as the best Dalek story ever. Also because it is entirely lost, and it's very unlikely that they'll find it. It is unlikely. It's one of those. It's not as unlikely. For example, Daleks Master Plan. There's pretty much no chance you'll find that, because it wasn't sold. There was only, I think, one place it was sold. It was some of the episodes were kept in the UK and they were destroyed, and they didn't get sold overseas as much. You'd have to quote me on that, but I believe it was only sold to one territory, maybe not at all. Right. So that's why that story will never be found.
What about Marco Polo?
That's another unlikely one. The issue with a lot of these stories is they're just so unlikely. So I would like them to animate, but you got to remember, this has been most likely a project for years and years. And if
let me ask you one question. I used to watch Doctor Who on WLYW, right? It was a PBS channel, channel 21. I would also watch it on the New Jersey Network, channel 58, and there was also a channel 31. And back in the 70s, they, I guess, gave them a copy to air, or made them a copy. What if these places still have that?
I suppose there's some chances of it, but back in the, in America especially as well, because they only started getting copies, I believe some places got them in the late 60s, but it was mostly early 70s, like you say, and then a lot of places started to get them in the 80s, and that's when a lot of them were destroyed. America did have the same process. Like, as you know, a lot of American TV from the 1950s and 60s is lost. Yeah. They did the same type of things we did. They did
with Johnny Carson. They destroyed the Tonight Show.
Yeah, exactly. And the very first TV appearance of Elvis, if I'm correct, is also destroyed. So there's things which I'm not sure what show that's from though. Maybe the Tonight Show, but there's a lot of things that have been destroyed. Yeah, it's so very likely that if they did have a copy, they would have destroyed it too. The only places you got a chance of, for example, the Tomb of Simon find in Hong Kong was a really good find. But, animating is great. The only negative, I suppose, is they've been working on it for years, clearly, because it's a massive project. Animating 6 episodes, and you've got barely any footage to work on. And it is really difficult. So the fact that they didn't have the resources to even consider animating the other episodes of Underwater Menace, or even The Crusade, which is another William Hartnell story, which has episodes 1 and 3 in existence, and 2 and 4 are missing, yeah? The fact that they can't do that tells me this is probably going to be a one-off, unless it sells incredibly well, and they may consider commissioning again if the team are up to it. It's about monetary value, and if the team is even up to it, because it's such a hard job. It's one of the hardest things to do, animating something, because animating a TV show is easy if you're good at the job, but animating something where you actually have no footage to work off, you've got to work off like scripts, pictures and stuff, and what the actors and actresses tell you, what happened there. It's very difficult. So credit is where credit is due, and I hope whatever we get is going to be great, and I hope that they commission more. But I'm going to be skeptical and think this will probably be a one-off, depending on how well it sells. And if it isn't, it will be a long wait. These are not just overnight. These take several years.
So if they are working on something else, it will take 3 years from now, probably.
Depending how good, obviously the team will get better. And if they, for example, they're not going to do Underwater Menace because the DVD's already released. It's just not monetarily valuable. So that's already a goner, really. I truly believe over the years when technology expands, fans will just get so good at it that they'll do something for us. So that'll be nice.
That'd be cool.
The most likely ones, I hope we get Fury from the Deep. Evil the Daleks is actually, to me, an overrated story. I've listened to it a few times. It's kind of boring in some parts, actually. But Fury from the Deep.
How much is this going to be?
It's actually quite expensive. Pre-order on Amazon is just over £20, which is about $30.
Wow.
For a DVD.
Oh, and you know, when I go to like these bookstores, they have DVDs and stuff. They're like triple or double. What? Yeah. I mean, I've seen Tom Baker episodes at like $40, $50. I'm like, wow. I mean,
well, I am okay paying a higher premium price for this product. Yes, it's inferior to the real thing. However, releasing the real thing is just restoring. By the way, restoring a Doctor Who episode to make it look good to this day, the black and white, takes a lot of work and it's very expensive. But animating is far more time consuming. So they've actually invested quite a lot of money. So, it's, paying a bit more because they invested the money seems very fair. So they can actually make the money back. It's profitable after all. They don't just do it because, oh, here's a freebie. They want to make money. That's the whole point, isn't it?
And we're going to revisit this story when we both own a copy of it.
I will buy it on the digital store and share it to everyone instantly. I'm that much of a fanboy.
I'm gonna buy it and we're gonna review it and we're gonna talk about it for a while.
It'll be difficult for you because of the BBC store, won't it? I'm not sure how it will work in American. If in worst case scenario, I'll buy it on
I took Connor said something like it was going to be on BBC America. Because if it's on BBC America, I could record it on the TBR, but I don't know if they're going to do that.
Hopefully, it'll be something for Americans. If there isn't, I mean, I presume they would have done iTunes, but now they have BBC Store, which really limits their market. I would still say it'd be good for them to put it on iTunes too. But
if it was on iTunes, that'd be fantastic. Because I've ordered Doctor Who from iTunes before. So when they had the Asylum of the Daleks mini-sode that people didn't even know it was like two, the other version.
Oh yeah, when they accidentally charged money. I remember that, and they didn't actually. And I still think they purposely did that, and then they saw the backlash, and they're like, "Oh no, it's free now."
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Charging license payers for the fee, ridiculous. I've never seen so ridiculous.
Before we do go on this episode of Real Whovians Cast, I do want to briefly. Class is going to have the first episode of Class is going to have Peter Capaldi as Doctor, correct?
Yeah, I've heard that. I'm going to be honest, guys. Class, I've not been following completely. I'm a Doctor Who fan. They've had ample opportunities to show William Russell in the new era.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that at all. By the way,
he should have been in the 50th anniversary. He could have been in Coldwell School. I'm not asking you to put him in as Ian Chesterton. I know how old he is, even though I think it'd work.
I bet you Chris Chibnall will do it. I bet you Chris Chibnall will do it.
Yeah, I hope so. But
whole new set of rules, man. Whole new set of rules when he comes aboard.
It's too late. The man's in his 90s. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
And the guy is very frail. The last time I saw him was 4 years ago, and he was very frail. Very, not well and healthy, but frail.
He played the doorman in Adventure in Space and Time, right?
Exactly, yeah. And even there, you could see, he's not. It's very worrying that they didn't even have the Stephen Moffat didn't even. And I know he keeps saying it's the people above him, but come on, a cameo. You could have got away with that. A cameo is just showing respect.
If the Doctor went to a coffee shop and bumped into him sitting down, drinking a cup of coffee.
Exactly. You should have had the original surviving actors who were in the first episode should have been in the 50th. Mandatory. There's no getting around that. So
they could have did a mini-sode. They could have did a mini-sode with Carol Ann Ford.
Anything, and they didn't have the respect. At least Mark Gatiss had the respect, and Nicholas Briggs, and they worked on getting him in Adventure Space and Time. At least they managed that, but it's still disrespectful. On Class, I'm going to watch it, obviously, give it a go. I'm just worried it would be a bit too childish for me. I don't know how it's going to go. So
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been following it as much as Louis and Connor have, but I am going to watch it and tape it. So, all right.
I'll watch it. Give it 1 or 2 episodes, and then,
It supposedly they said it's renewed for another season already before even we've seen it. So I don't know how that's going to go, but
I know,
I
it's
would
just,
wouldn't you think that it would have to air first in order to see if people like it before they just renew it to another season?
yeah, it's not like AMC with the, for
Walking
example,
Dead.
AMC with The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, they instantly renewed Fear, but that's because
Fear
they
Walking
know.
Dead gets renewed so early, but then it's like, can it really be that? You know, so
It doesn't matter how good it is, they just know with The Walking Dead license it'll make money. With this, it's Doctor Who with less ratings, and the BBC, for some reason, always focus on ratings, which is bizarre because ratings in this digital age are not very important.
all right, James, thank you very much, sir. We'll
Mhm.
try to get some more. I know we haven't had that many Real Whovians cast. I do apologize for that. I will try to work hard and get you guys double the amount in September. So thank you again, James.
Yep.
Take care. Bye for now.